All right, everyone, for this recording, I'm going to talk a little bit about MLA, right? I'm going to talk about the Modern Languages Association format, which is the format that you were asked to do to use for the reaction paper. If you look at the course syllabus, when I described the reaction papers, you will see that I requested that you write it in MLA format, right? However, I never went over it with you, and I didn't really count that much in terms of the grade. It doesn't count that much towards the first draft, at least. But I want you to start writing your papers in MLA, which is the Modern Languages Association, which is the format that you are going to use for English classes, for other languages classes too. When you're writing papers for nursing, you're going to be using Chicago manual style. The same thing for business. If you're doing anything related to the humanities, such as sociology, psychology, philosophy, and even history, you're going to be using the APA style, which is the American Psychological Association. You will see some of that in English 24. But for English 12, you have to learn how to use the MLA, right? And the first tip I want to give you is I want you to Google up MLA Purdue, like Purdue University, OWL, like the bird, online writing lab, right? And the first link that you will come across is this guide, right? That tells you a little bit about how to create a paper and the latest edition of it. And it also shows you on the side here a couple of interesting things. One of them, like here's the menu, right? One of them is a sample paper. And I want you to go over here to the left and click on it so you can see what a sample MLA paper looks like. It looks without these boxes, right? Without the red and, without the green and blue boxes, it looks like this, right? Notice a couple of things. It has the last name of the writer, right? Your last name and the page number at the top right corner, right? For all pages, it has this thing called a header, which is something I'm going to teach you how to do right now. Right after that, it has already in the body of in the actual paper itself, it has your first name and your last name, then the professor's name, the class name, and the date, right? Following that, all of this is double spaced, okay? Don't hit enter twice, just set it up to double space. Right after that, you have the title centered, and then all the paragraphs are indented, right? So you begin the first paragraph by hitting tab once, and then everything else will be indented that way. I am going through it kind of fast, but I taught you how to get here, right? You go to Google, and then you type up MLA Purdue OWL, the first link. The first address will show you that. Then I told you to go through the general format, of course, but I'm showing you right now a sample paper, right? And let me go ahead and download it. If you want to click here to download it, you can do it. But I'm showing you here in this small section what it looks like. And we discussed that it has a header. It has a heading, meaning your name, the professor's name, the title of the class, and the date, right? And then next to that, centered, is the title of the paper, right? Then you begin typing the paper by indenting the first line, and every time you finish a paragraph, you hit enter, it will automatically indent, right? So every time you do that, you hit enter, and then it's automatically indented. So the text will pretty much look like that. The paper will look like that all the way up until the end when you reach the works cited page. So this is the page in which you list the works that you consulted, right? For example, If you, in the middle of the page, right, in the middle of the text, if you made reference to an author, like in this case, you made some reference to Dunhoff. So here you have the author's last name and the page number, right? This is in the text. We call that in-text citation, and it follows some rules, right? In-text citation rules, which are listed here. So at the end of the paper, not in the middle of the page, not in the text, you will create a list, and the list will have a couple of things. It'll have, for example, who is Dunhoff. So it's Dunhoff, which Dunhoff, Clarence H. And here's the name of the paper that he wrote, Change in Agriculture, the Northern United States from 1839 to blah, 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 blah. And it's a book. So all you have is the title of the book, and then it's published by Harvard University Press in 1969. Okay. If your eyes were really peeled here, you might have noticed that the formatting here in the works cited page is a little different. The indent is a little different, right? Instead of starting with tab and a couple of spaces, right? Tab here. It's tab, which is a couple of spaces, and then everything else to the left. Here it's inverted, right? When you get to the works cited page, it's the reverse. You start here, the first line is flush with to the left, and then everything else is hanging from the left. But I will get to that in a second. Right now I want to get to a blank Microsoft Word document. You could also do this in Google Docs if you don't have Microsoft Word, if you don't know how to get the free Microsoft Office version from the CUNY eMall. You're a CUNY student, so you should be able to get it. But let's go over here. Let's go to a blank document. I had a blank document. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to go to a blank document here. I'm going to double click on it. So again, I'm starting from scratch, right? So the first thing you want to do is you want to go ahead and get started with that header, right? The header is the part that's going to have your last name and the page number there. The way you do it is you click on Insert, and then you're going to go to Page Number. We're going to select the top of the page to the right and a plain number, right? So there I have it. Right now I'm going to click the left arrow to get out of that. I'm going to type my last name. And of course, Google doesn't want to do it. I have to capitalize it to get it that way. There you go. I'm going to type my last name in one space. My last name starts with a small d, not a capital one. So now I'm almost done, because one of the things that the MLA requires is that all fonts are the same. And I'm going to ask you to put all your fonts on size 12 and also Times New Roman, which is a really clear, simple font. Your header is done, right? So now you can click out of there and close the header. Just click outside of the header boundaries, and then the header is going to close. And now you're back in the text. And now if you start typing, right, let's say that, let me go ahead and copy something from Jamaica Kincaid's text. I'm going to copy some of her text. Blah, 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 blah. Let's keep going. I'm going to copy a couple of pages. That should be good enough. Copy, copy, and then paste it here. Let's say that this is your first couple of pages. Okay, very well. The first thing you want to do is you want to hit tab in the first letter, right? Capital letter when you're starting. Now your text is indented, which is really good. Next thing is to select everything. I'm going to select all. And I'm going to make sure that, again, it's Times New Roman size 12. and it is Times New Roman size 12 now. Next, as I told you, you want it to be double spaced. So I'm going to get it to be, how do I move this? Let me make it double spaced. I'm going to go over here and select 2.0 for double. Okay, so now it's all double spaced. It's looking a lot like the way it should look. If you notice, when you finish a paragraph, right? Here I go. When you finish a paragraph by just hitting enter, all the paragraphs are going to be indented. Okay, so if this were the last line in the paragraph, you just have to hit enter and then it's indented. Okay, your paper is going to have about this much. It's going to have about 2 pages, right, of text. So I'm just going to copy, Control V, and get it to be Times New Roman 12 again. And I'm going to format it the same way. I'm going to grab the format from here to this section that I just pasted. I'm going to make sure that it's Times New Roman 12 and double spaced. So let me go to 2.0. Okay, now I have close to 2 pages, which is really good. It's close to the example, to the amount that I wanted for you to have. So it's all indented and looking good. Now, let's just say that your paper ended here, right? And in the paper, you referenced Jamaica Kincaid a couple of times. So we know that this is one of the works that you're going to cite, right? Which is going to bring me to the works cited page. But before we go there, I forgot, we have a header, right? The first thing we need to see now is a heading, which would include starting from the left, right? I'm going to hit over here, enter again. I'm going to go back up and go all the way to the left. I'm going to hit backspace. I'm going to type my first and last name. I'm going to type the professor's name. Then I'm going to type, what am I going to type next? I'm going to type the date. Today's October 1st, 2023. And the last thing you need is the assignment, right? So first and last name, the professor's name, and then the date and the type of assignment that it is. So this is my reaction 1, draft 2. And the title now, I'm going to hit enter and center the title. And the title is going to be whatever your title is. In this case, How I Came to Want to Build My Own Language Garden. Whatever that is, okay? The title is to be centered, right? I'm going to hit center here, and then you're ready. Now this paper really looks like an MLA paper. It's looking really indented properly with double spaces, and this is too much text. I'm just going to delete it to pretend that you wrote only 2 pages, and you ended here, right? Now, the last thing that you need is a page that cites all the works that you looked up, or that you used, and that is called the works cited page. So you're going to write works cited, and that is going to be centered, right? And as I said before, the indentation is a little different. In this case, right, you got this article from a periodical, right? I'm going to bring the indentation back to the left. And I'm going to type, this is pretty standard, you're going to type the author's last name, the first name. Now the type